Creighton. Just how do you feel like, I know it's early, you haven't had much time to digest it, but how do you feel like you match up against them? And also yesterday, how much did it ease the tension just to see your name go up pretty quickly?
Well, I'll start with yesterday. It's always a exciting time when you get to Selection Sunday, and the only thing that even the coaches that know that they're in the tournament, but at large, it's still some anxiety, to the whole deal. The only time that I've ever really slept well is when I was at Wilmington and when we won the tournament, and you knew that you were in anyway. You just didn't know what seed you were going to be. And so, anxiety, even going back to my days at Louisville, you just, you're in the field, you've done enough. And you just kind of wondering, like, hey, all right, is my name going to get called? And I think it was a great shout out to the committee for not making us wait a long time. It was really good to see your name in the first bracket that came out, and our guys were excited. And we had just finished up practice, and we were just hanging around a practice facility, and you could just hear everybody just start yelling because it's a very exciting time. And as far as Creighton go, I don't know how we match up yet. I'm starting to watch tape on them, watched a little bit late last night and then some today. But I know Greg's done a great job with his program over the years, and they're really good. I think 21-12 and 14-6 in the Big East, which is a very good conference. And I mean, they're a good team. They're a historical, really good team. And obviously it'll be a tough matchup. No matter how we match up, it'll be a tough game for us.
Go ahead, JC.
Do you see from what you have watched of Creighton that it looks like it could be a massive track meet in the altitude with a lot of three balls flying around?
Well, the little bit that I have watched, they're really good. I mean, they're really, really good offensively. They get out in transition. They're special. They can shoot the basketball. It is, going into the game, you would say there are two teams that really like to play fast. So could be a high scoring game.
Go ahead, Evan.
Coach, from last year where you only had 11 wins and a 4-16 record to a year where you're now going to the NCAA tournament, I mean, what does that do for you emotionally? I mean, 'cause I know it's got to have been some kind of roller coaster, and it's, you're going from the hot seat to being one of the best coaches in the country.
Well, you know what? We did a good job. Credit goes to staff and players that we recruited and the guys who were back in the program to absolutely flip the program. We had a really tough year that you never want to go through with injuries and just, things didn't click the way we wanted to. And, we went out and we addressed some of our issues. I had a bunch of new guys come in as far as staff and brought a lot of energy to the program. And, we kind of got our swag back this year, and it was really good to see that. And, it's good to be on this side of it. I'll tell you that.
A quick follow-up, Coach, if you'll let me. What were some of those immediate reactions by some of the players, especially by guys like by Joyner and by Terquavion, and even, one of my favorite guys, DJ Burns? I'm sure he was going crazy.
Well, it was a great reaction because, we talked about this at the beginning of our year. We talked about this during the recruiting process that we wanted to get back to winning 20-plus games as we had done our first 3 years, and we wanted to get back to the NCAA. So it was validation that all of our hard work had paid off, and, guys who came in and, contributed to the program, and a guy like Terquavion Smith who decided to come back, that he was rewarded and get the opportunity to play in the the biggest tournament in basketball. And it was really excited about it. And our guys were pumped. I mean, DJ Burns is happy. I was so happy for Jarkel Joyner, who has been in college for a long time, but gets a opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament. And, I don't think we've had but 3 guys on our current roster that had ever experienced that. And that was a good thing just to see everybody's excitement and know that they have that opportunity now.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, Kevin, ACC had 5 teams in. I think Clemson, so a lot of people thought maybe they could have been in. Just your overall thoughts on how the league fared on Selection Sunday.
Yeah, it's tough because I've been on the other side of that, and we have to, as a league, have to try to figure out. We got 15 really good teams in our league, and it's not to get 1/4 of your teams in. It's really tough, and it's been that way kind of more so. I don't know if it's because we went to 20 games, or I don't know if it's because the net or both of them happened at the same time. But as a league, we have to figure out how to get 7, 8, 9 teams into the tournament. The Clemson one's tough because, as you know, they're a really good basketball team. I think they should have been in the NCAA. I guess if I had to go back to one common theme, we got left out, I think, at 33 or 32 in the net. And I think one of the issues that we had, according to the committee, was our non-conference strength of schedule. And I would say that's probably the only thing, in my opinion, that kind of brought Clemson down. I wasn't in the committee room, and I don't know exactly what happened there. But, some of that happened to us a few years ago where our non-conference schedule ended up being in the 300s. And that's so tough because when you set out to schedule, most times the teams that you schedule, you think that they're going to do well. And scheduling is so hard now because there's so many transfers. So when you schedule a team, they could be really good or they could be really bad, but by the time they add transfers or lose some guys, it completely changes. So in Clemson's situation, Illinois, Chicago was a good team, and, don't know what South Carolina's going to be. And then all of a sudden, some of those teams you think that's going to be really good don't perform well, and it brings your non-conference schedule down. I wish at some point we could focus on really December and January opposed to November and December because a lot of times you get dinged for what happens early in your season.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Go ahead, John.
Good morning, Coach. I know that in ACC play, you obviously face a ton of big guys every week, it seems like, be it Armando Bacot, Derek Lively, Jesse Edwards. Creighton's got a 7-1 big man of their own in Kalkbrenner. I was curious this season, when you're defending a big man, is it just DJ one-on-one, or do you send the house to help him out? And on offense, do you try to stay out of the paint because you're worried about getting your shots blocked?
Well, he's unique. I mean, I'm watching him, and we made a couple calls, and coming when he was coming out of high school, and I don't think we ever was really involved with him, but he is so talented. I think you have to be prepared for all different ways because of his ability. If he gets, I think at one point, and he may still be, he was shooting close to 70% from the field. He does a great job of posting up deep in the paint. He's really talented around the rim. If you want to talk about defensively, they do a good job with drop coverage on him, and they make you take pull-up jump shots, and he's really elite at blocking shots at the rim. And so he's a tough matchup. I think we have to do a great job of being prepared to guard him different ways and try to figure out how we can score against him.
Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, Kevin, how do you feel you guys are playing heading into the tournament? And is there some aspects of your team that you'd like to see cleaned up as you head into the tournament?
Well, I think we're playing, Todd. I think we're playing good basketball. Obviously, you could point to the Clemson game and say, well, how could he say that? But the night before, we played very well against Virginia Tech. I think when you get into a tournament situation, one of the biggest things is matchups and how do you match up against the team. And, if we play certain teams 3 or 4 times, we probably could be successful with the way we play. And I think a lot of times it comes down to matchups. And, Clemson for us was just a tough matchup. They were physical. They did a good job of gap protection and everything else. But I think if you allow me to throw away a couple of those games, I would say we're playing really good basketball.
Mr. Miles, go ahead.
Thanks, Craig. Hey, Coach, you're a guy that goes from 3 straight tournament appearances from your last 2 at Wilmington and your first year at NC State to kind of missing out for a little while. Does that kind of make you kind of want to live in the moment a little bit more and kind of be grateful for these opportunities, knowing how, sporadic they do come as a coach?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you think about that, we were on a roll and we actually thought it should have been. So we'd win the last 2 years at Wilmington, and then we got here, we win it. And we thought because of, the net at that point. We thought we should have been in for our fourth straight, 2 at NC State. And then let's not forget, you have to throw I think a lot of time people forget this, you have to throw the pandemic year in where there was no tournament. Somehow we've forgotten about that. But it is, I'm going to live right here in the present and excited about it. These guys that's on my team have no idea about the history and whether we've been in or not. It's only fair that we give them everything we can and not live in the past and concentrate on a good Creighton team and be ready to play on Friday against these guys. But I am so happy for our current roster and, what they've been through this year. Try not to put last year on these guys because it wasn't on them. But it is great to see that they came in and we back to winning 20 games and on the top of the ACC.
Thanks, Coach.
Go ahead, John.
Hey, Coach, just kind of building off of what Trayvon was asking, you've been in the NCAA tournament, but a lot of these guys have not. Have you spoken with them yet about what to expect, what the atmosphere, the whole hoopla around it'll be like yet? Or is that something that you guys will discuss once you touch down in Denver?
Yeah, I think it'll be something that I'll sprinkle in, John, throughout the week. Last night was just excitement. And, we didn't even, honestly, at that time, I don't even think they knew who we were playing because we were just so excited to hear our name call. Today, we will talk about, obviously, a good Creighton team and just start preparing mentally and physically for the game on Friday.
Go ahead, James.
Kevin, I was just wondering if you had an update on Greg. Obviously, been at the tournament, maybe couldn't get one so quick, just a few days out.
I don't have anything right now. He is still going to be a game time decision as far as Friday goes. Just we're hopeful. I don't know where that will land at. I haven't. We practiced yesterday and he was not a part of practice, but that doesn't mean he couldn't be available on Friday.
And just to follow up, playing in that altitude, do you go out there any earlier? I don't know if there's a set schedule you have to take, given it's the NCAA tournament. I mean, what's the plan with that?
Well, James, we're trying to figure that out now.
Okay.
If it was up to me, I would have left right after the selection show last night. But obviously, we would have to work with the NCAA and try to figure out as quick how soon we can get out there, because obviously, I think that will be an issue.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Evan.
Coach, you mentioned that preparing mentally for this game. Is that one of the hardest things about this and the tournament, is going from a mode of celebration right into getting back in that combative mentality, ready for the next game?
Yeah, and here's the good thing about it. We have time. Sometimes you don't. We don't play until Friday, and so I think there's for our guys, the excitement of being in. I think that's one thing. But we'll be ready to play once that opportunity is presented to itself when we tip. And I think that's part of the process. Part of the process is, excited about it. I think everybody that got in the tournament yesterday had a sense of excitement about them and pumped up. And I think every coach's job now is, all right, now you're in. Now let's figure out how to win games. And you have to start with the first game.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, Kevin, I was just wondering, obviously it didn't take long when State got its name called, but before the tournament, what was your confidence level that NC State would get its name called?
I felt, Rob, pretty confident, and here's why. I kind of look back at the times we didn't get in and the times we did. I didn't think we, typically you don't have this, but in a season we had 0 bad losses. I thought we did a good job, and it was tough because some of the games we played against really historical, good basketball teams could have been a quad 3 or quad 4 loss for us, and we kind of handled business, and I thought we did a good job in that area. I thought our strength of schedule was really good. We played a really, really tough ACC conference schedule when you think about playing Duke twice, Miami twice, Clemson twice, Wake Forest, and Carolina twice. And so I thought, we did enough, for our guys to win 23 games, and then 12-8 in the conference. And the 12 games came against really good competition, 12 wins. And I thought we had done enough. And so I was excited about it, but you just never know until you hear your name called.
Anything else for Coach Keatts? All right, Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.